My meeting with Justin, I've been brainstorming a way to raise money for the community center because it's got to happen really fast.
You know, we can do some kind of sporting event and make that for charity.
Oh, I like that idea.
And whoever wins, like the opposing team has to give whatever
make a
team
donation?
wins. Yeah, make a donation to whatever charity they want.
She's a smart cookie.
In the heart of Los Angeles, where childhood dreams often get buried beneath the weight of struggle, stood a broken building, its walls cracked, its floors silent, its purpose forgotten. This was the Watts Community Center, once a place of laughter and safety, now a shadow of what it used to be. But then came a spark, a meeting between philanthropist Justin Mayo and two of the most recognizable women in the world, Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian. What followed wasn't about fame or cameras. It was about humanity, about rebuilding hope where it had long been lost. It all began with a simple conversation, one that carried the potential to change hundreds of young lives. Justin Mayo, the executive director of the nonprofit organization Red Eye, had spent over a decade mentoring children in the Watts housing projects. His voice carried the stories of forgotten streets, where children grew up surrounded by danger instead of opportunity, where dreams were replaced by survival instincts. The statistics were heartbreaking. Only 2.9% of local kids made it to college, while more than half dropped out of high school. Even more devastating, there were an estimated 7,000 gang members within just 2 miles of the community center. For years, Justin and his team had been mentoring kids in these neighborhoods, trying to protect them from the harsh realities around them. But one of their most important safe havens, the Watts Community Center, was falling apart. Mold spread across the walls, broken basketball hoops hung like abandoned promises, and the kitchen where meals were once shared had crumbled into disrepair. Yet within those decaying walls, Justin saw potential, not just for renovation but for rebirth. That's where Kris Jenner entered the story. Known for her sharp business mind and her role as the matriarch of the Kardashian family, Kris wasn't new to projects that involved leadership and transformation. But this was different. When she met Justin and heard the children's stories, something shifted.
I'm really excited about all the progress that's being made, and I'm so optimistic that this is going to make the community a better place.
This wasn't just another charity, it was a mission. Kris immediately began brainstorming ways to raise money and awareness. Alongside Kim Kardashian, she pledged not only financial support but also her network, her influence, and her hands-on involvement. Kris and Kim's journey into the heart of Watts wasn't about glitz or television. It was about humanity meeting humility. When they first saw the condition of the community center, the shock was visible. The gym floor was damaged beyond use, the computer lab barely had functioning equipment, and the playground was unsafe. Yet, beneath the broken infrastructure, they saw children who smiled anyway, kids who carried hope in their eyes despite the struggles that defined their environment. The project became a movement. Kris reached out to companies, friends, and sponsors who could help make this dream possible. Adidas joined the effort, stepping forward to completely fund the construction of an outdoor basketball court. Their belief that sport has the power to change lives aligned perfectly with the vision for the new community center. Other sponsors contributed toward renovating the kitchen, gym, and learning areas. Slowly, the dream began to take shape.
All the things that are happening are going to be really terrific for the kids. The ability to come someplace and have a really safe environment with really loving people can make a big difference in a community that's otherwise going to be left behind.
Kim Kardashian, equally moved by the children's resilience, took a deep interest in the educational side of the project. She believed that real change begins with empowerment, giving these kids the tools to build their own destinies. Seeing the smiles of the children as they walked into the finished spaces was more rewarding than any red carpet moment. The community's reaction was overwhelming. Many residents had grown up watching promises fade away, organizations that came with cameras, made pledges, and disappeared. But this time was different. When the Kardashian family showed up, they didn't just donate, they worked, listened, and connected. Local leaders who had lost faith in outsiders found themselves moved to tears, seeing real change unfold before their eyes. Justin Mayo, who had fought for years to keep the center alive, described it as a dream come true. "These kids have changed my life," he said. "They're little rock stars, they just need a chance." His words captured the essence of the entire journey. This wasn't charity, it was partnership, not a project but a promise kept. The grand reopening day was emotional. The once broken building now gleamed with new energy. The kids, dressed in their best clothes, ran across the new basketball court, laughter echoing through the air. The kitchen smelled of fresh food, the walls were covered in bright colors, and the media lab buzzed with curiosity. What was once a symbol of neglect had become a beacon of hope. As the ribbon was cut, the community gathered in celebration. Parents wept openly, grateful that their children finally had a safe space to grow. Local youth spoke about their dreams, to become engineers, teachers, athletes, dreams that suddenly felt possible. Kim and Kris looked on, proud but humbled, understanding that their fame had finally served a purpose beyond entertainment. The moment that stood out most was one of pure authenticity. A local resident, who had doubted the project at first, stood up and said, "When we heard the Kardashian family was going to help, we didn't believe it. We've heard promises before. But now we see, you're really here. You did this." His words captured the essence of trust being restored, something no amount of money could buy. Even after the renovations were complete, Kris and Kim emphasized that this was only the beginning. The goal wasn't just to restore a building, but to inspire a legacy of care and responsibility. They encouraged others to continue supporting the center, donating time, resources, or mentorship. Because true change doesn't happen overnight, it grows, one act of kindness at a time. In the days following the opening, the Watts Community Center became more than a physical space, it became a sanctuary. Children who once had nowhere to go after school now gathered there daily. The sound of bouncing basketballs and laughter filled the air. In the media lab, young minds discovered coding, storytelling, and digital creativity. In the kitchen, they shared meals and lessons in community. It became a place where the next generation could learn that they were seen, valued, and loved. For Kris Jenner, it was a moment of reflection, a reminder that real success isn't defined by fame or fortune but by the lives we touch. For Kim, it was a continuation of her mission to use her influence for justice and growth. And for Justin Mayo, it was the culmination of years of faith, proof that when people come together with purpose, miracles happen. The Watts Project stands as a powerful example of what collaboration, compassion, and consistency can achieve. It showed that even in the most overlooked corners of the world, light can return. It's easy to make promises, but rare to follow through. This initiative did both, turning despair into determination, decay into dignity, and a forgotten building into a foundation for future leaders. Every community has a story waiting to be rewritten, and sometimes, all it takes is one act of kindness to spark a revolution of hope. The Watts Community Center isn't just a renovated building, it's proof that real change begins when we stop looking away. Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian, and Justin Mayo showed that influence means nothing without impact. Now, it's our turn. Look around, someone near you needs that same light. Volunteer, donate, speak up, or build something that lasts. Because every time we give back, we rebuild the world, one community at a time.